Here's something weird. Two people apply for the same job, same qualifications, same experience. One gets it, the other doesn't. Why? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's something most people don't even notice they're doing. David Schwartz spent years studying successful people, and he found one difference that changed everything. It's in his book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. But before we get to the answer, let me show you where most people go wrong.
Most people never even try. You want to start a business? I don't have enough money. You want to speak up in a meeting? I'm not smart enough. You want to post content online? What if people judge me? Schwartz calls this excusitis. It's a mental disease that kills more dreams than failure ever will. And it shows up in 4 specific forms. Health excusitis. I'd love to chase my goals, but I'm always tired. My energy isn't great. Age excusitis. I'm too young to be taken seriously, or I'm too old to start over now. Intelligence excusitis. I'm not smart enough for that. Other people went to better schools. Luck excusitis. Some people just get lucky. I wasn't born under the right circumstances. Sound familiar? Here's what's actually happening. These excuses sound logical, they sound reasonable, but they're really just ways to protect yourself from discomfort. They let you off the hook before you even try. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to apply for a job but didn't because you thought you weren't qualified enough? How many times have you had an idea for a business but talked yourself out of it before even researching it? Here's the truth Schwartz discovered. Every successful person you admire felt the same fear. Every single one. The entrepreneur you follow, they were terrified when they started. The speaker on stage, they bombed their first presentation. The content creator with millions of followers, they posted their first video with shaking hands. The difference isn't that they were fearless, it's that they moved anyway. Fear doesn't disappear when you become successful. You just stop waiting for it to go away before you act. Schwartz says action cures fear. The longer you wait, the stronger fear grows. But the moment you take one step, any step, the fear starts shrinking. So here's your first move, and you can do this right now. Catch yourself mid-excuse. The next time you say, I can't do this because, stop and ask yourself one simple question. Is this fact or fear? Is it actually impossible, or does it just feel scary? Most of the time, you'll realize it's fear pretending to be logic. And once you see that, you can choose courage instead.
Okay, so why do some people act when others freeze? It comes down to one thing: belief. Not belief in some cosmic force or manifestation magic, belief in yourself. Here's the problem most people don't realize. We don't act based on what's actually possible. We act based on what we think is possible. Let me give you an example. You see a job posting. It says 5 years experience required. You have 3 years. Do you apply? Most people immediately say no. They close the tab. They've already disqualified themselves. But big thinkers, they ask a different question. How can I make this work? Maybe they highlight their achievements instead of years. Maybe they write a compelling cover letter. Maybe they reach out to someone at the company directly. Same situation, different belief, different action, different result. That tiny shift in question changes everything. Your brain stops looking for reasons you can't and starts finding ways you can. Schwartz says belief works like a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you truly believe you can do something, you start finding ways to make it happen. Your energy rises, your focus sharpens, and here's the interesting part. People start responding to your confidence. Belief is contagious. When you radiate it, others begin to believe in you too. But here's the real question. How do you build that kind of belief when doubt feels so much louder? Start with this. Replace I can't with how can I? It sounds simple, but watch what happens. Your brain shifts from shutdown mode to problem-solving mode. Next, visualize yourself succeeding. Not in some vague fantasy way, but in vivid emotional detail. Don't just think, I want to start a business. See yourself having that first customer conversation. Feel the nervousness and excitement. Picture yourself closing the deal. The more specific you make it, the more your brain accepts it as possible. Here's why this works. Your brain can't always tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you repeatedly visualize success, you're literally training your nervous system to expect it. And one more thing people get wrong. They think self-confidence means never doubting yourself. That's not it. Self-confidence is quiet assurance that you have what it takes to learn, grow, and figure things out along the way. The people who think big don't have it all figured out. They just believe they'll find a way. And because they believe it, they usually do.
Here's where most people get stuck. They live inside invisible walls built by their own thoughts. They don't dream too high, they don't reach too far, because somewhere along the line, they were told, be realistic. Here's where most people get stuck. They live inside invisible walls Walls built by their own thoughts. They don't dream too high. They don't reach too far. Because somewhere along the line, they were told, be realistic. But here's the twist. What we call realistic is usually just another word for limited. Schwartz says, the size of your success is determined by the size of your thinking. Small thinking keeps you stuck in safe, predictable circles. Big thinking pushes you into new territories, challenges, and opportunities you didn't even know existed. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Two people want to start a YouTube channel. Person A thinks, I'll post once a month when I feel inspired. Maybe I'll get lucky and go viral. Person B thinks, I'll post twice a week for a year. I'll study what works, invest in better equipment, and treat this like a real business. Who do you think succeeds? Same starting point, different thinking, completely different outcomes. Big thinking isn't about ignoring reality, it's about expanding it. It's about asking bigger questions. Not how can I get by, but how can I make a real impact? Not what's the minimum I need to do, but what's the maximum I'm capable of? Not will this work, but how can I make this work? Here's something powerful that happens when you think big. You start seeing possibilities where others see limits. Someone else looks at a problem and says, that's impossible. You look at the same problem and say, that's interesting. How can we solve this? Every great achievement started as a thought. The airplane, the smartphone, every business, every movement, all of it began in someone's imagination. Someone who refused to let small thoughts dictate their future. So how do you develop this think big mindset? First, surround yourself with people who think bigger than you do. The energy you absorb from others shapes how far you see yourself going. If you're around people who constantly complain or play small, you'll slowly start shrinking your own vision. But when you connect with dreamers, doers, and optimists, their belief fuels yours. Second, challenge small language in your own self-talk. Replace I hope with I will. Replace maybe with definitely. Replace I'll try with I'm committed. Words shape thoughts, thoughts shape actions. Third, set goals that stretch you. Not impossible goals, but goals that are just slightly out of reach. Goals that make you a little nervous when you think about them. Because when you think big, your mind begins to grow to match your vision. You start taking bolder actions, speaking with more confidence, and attracting opportunities that once seemed out of your league. The world responds differently to people who think differently. So stop asking what's reasonable. Start asking what's possible. That's where the magic begins. Now, here's the mistake everyone makes about confidence. They think, once I feel confident, I'll take action. But it's completely backward. Confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. Then confidence shows up. Schwartz says it perfectly. Action cures fear. The more you do, the more confident you become. The less you do, the more doubt grows. It's really that simple. Think about the first time you tried anything new. Driving a car, speaking in public, starting a new job, going on a first date. You probably felt nervous, unsure, maybe even terrified. But once you started doing it, the fear began to fade. Why? Because experience replaces uncertainty with evidence. Every time you take action, you gather proof that you're capable. Confidence is built from these small wins, not from waiting for the perfect moment. Let me give you a real example. You're scared of public speaking, so you wait. You tell yourself, when I feel more confident, I'll volunteer to present. But that day never comes, because confidence doesn't grow in waiting. It grows in doing. Instead, try this. Speak up once in your next meeting. Just once. Even if your voice shakes. That's it. That's the action. And what happens? You survive. You realize it wasn't as bad as you thought. Your brain registers, oh, I can do this. That's a deposit in your confidence bank. Now you do it again and again. Each time gets a little easier. After 10 times, you're not scared anymore. After 100, you're actually good at it. This is how every skill, every achievement, every version of confidence is built. Here's how to put this into practice starting today. Take small, consistent actions. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. If you want to start a business, don't wait for the perfect business plan. Take one simple step today. Research your idea. Talk to one potential customer. Write down your first offer. If you want to get in shape, don't wait until you feel motivated. Do one workout. Just one. Each action, no matter how small, is proof that you're capable of more. Celebrate small victories. Most people only celebrate big wins, but true confidence is built in the micro moments. The times you showed up even when it was uncomfortable. The times you tried even when you weren't sure. Acknowledge your courage, no matter how small it feels. That recognition reinforces the belief that you can handle more. And here's something no one tells you. People who appear confident aren't fearless. They're not walking around feeling certain all the time. They've just learned to take action despite fear. They trust that they'll figure things out along the way. So stop waiting for the right mood, the right time, or the right level of certainty. Take one bold step today. Because confidence doesn't come from thinking about it. It comes from doing it. And the more you do, the more unstoppable you become. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to attract good things? Opportunities, connections, success. It's not luck, it's attitude. Your attitude is like a magnet. It either pulls opportunities toward you or pushes them away. Schwartz emphasizes this. Success doesn't start with skills or luck. It starts with a positive mental attitude. The way you think shapes the way you feel, and the way you feel shapes the way you act. When your attitude is positive, your actions become powerful. When it's negative, even the best plans fall flat. Think about the people you enjoy being around. Chances are they radiate good energy. They make you feel hopeful, motivated, capable. That's not a coincidence. Positive people create environments where ideas and possibilities thrive. On the other hand, negativity drains everything. A bad attitude makes every problem look bigger and every opportunity look smaller. Here's a simple truth. Life is largely about perspective. Two people can face the exact same situation. One sees a dead end, the other sees a detour to something better. The difference isn't the circumstance, it's the attitude. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Two people lose their job on the same day. Person A says, "This is the worst thing that could happen. The economy is terrible. I'll never find something this good again." Person B says, "This is unexpected, but it's also a chance to find something better. Maybe this is the push I needed to finally pursue what I actually want." Same situation, different attitude, completely different outcome. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. And your response determines whether you rise or stay stuck. Now, positive thinking isn't about ignoring challenges or pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what you can control and finding the lesson or opportunity in every obstacle. Instead of, "This is too hard," say, "This is a chance to grow." Instead of, "I failed," say, "I learned what doesn't work." Instead of, "This isn't fair," say, "What can I do with what I have?" This isn't just feel-good advice. It's rewiring your brain to operate from empowerment, not limitation. Here's something powerful you can try starting tomorrow morning. Begin your day by asking yourself, what's good about today? It sounds small, but it trains your mind to look for possibilities instead of problems. Maybe it's a meeting where you can share your idea. Maybe it's progress on a project. Maybe it's just a chance to learn something new. The more you practice gratitude and optimism, the more natural it becomes to see the bright side. And that directly affects your results. Because here's the thing. People are drawn to positive energy. Employers hire it, friends appreciate it, investors fund it, opportunities flow toward it. A winning attitude turns average abilities into exceptional outcomes. I've seen people with mediocre skills succeed beyond measure simply because their attitude was magnetic. And I've seen incredibly talented people struggle because their negativity pushed everyone away. So if you want to think big and live big, guard your attitude like treasure. Because your attitude isn't just how you see the world, it's the lens through which your world is created. Big thinking without goals is just wishful dreaming. You can have all the positive attitude and confidence in the world, but if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up nowhere. Schwartz makes this clear. People who achieve extraordinary success aren't just lucky or smarter. They think big by setting specific, meaningful goals and then using creativity to reach them. Goals give your big thoughts structure. They turn imagination into action. Without them, even the most powerful ideas fade away. Think of goals as your personal GPS. They tell your mind where to go and help filter out distractions. But here's what most people get wrong. They set small, safe goals that they know they can reach, goals that don't scare them at all. Schwartz says, don't do that. Set goals that stretch you, goals that make you a little nervous, because that's where growth happens. If your goals don't excite you or scare you even a little, they're not big enough. Let me give you an example. Small goal, I want to save $1,000 this year. Big goal, I want to build a side business that generates $3,000 a month within a year. Which one makes you think differently? Which one forces you to grow? The big goal doesn't just require discipline, it requires creativity, learning, problem solving, and expansion. That's the point. Now, once you've set those big goals, the next step is to think creatively about how to achieve them. Schwartz believed that success belongs to people who learn to think up instead of think down. Instead of saying it can't be done, they ask, how can it be done? That simple shift opens the door to innovation. Creative thinking is really just problem solving from a bigger perspective. When you stop focusing on obstacles and start focusing on possibilities, your brain begins finding ways around limitations. Here's a practical exercise you can do right now. Write down your main goal, then challenge yourself to list 10 different ways to achieve it. Don't judge the ideas, don't worry if some sound crazy, just let your creativity flow. You'll be surprised how many new paths appear once you stop thinking there's only one way. I'll give you an example. Let's say your goal is to make an extra $2,000 a month. 10 possible paths. Start freelancing in your skill set. Sell a digital product online. Consult for small businesses. Create an online course. Flip items online. Offer coaching in your area of expertise. Build an affiliate marketing site. Create content and monetize it. Rent out something you own. Partner with someone and split profits. See? 10 paths. Not all will work, but you only need 1 or 2 to succeed. The most successful people aren't the ones who had the perfect plan from day one. They're the ones who kept thinking, adjusting, and inventing new strategies until something worked. Another powerful tip from Schwartz: visualize your success in vivid detail. Don't just wish for it, see it, feel it, believe it. Imagine the end result, then work backward to map out the steps. If your goal is to run a successful online business, don't just think, I want to make money online. Picture yourself waking up, checking your notifications, and seeing sales that came in overnight. Picture yourself responding to happy customer messages. Picture yourself having the freedom to work from anywhere. Make it real in your mind. When your mind knows what the destination looks like, it begins finding routes to get there, even subconsciously. And don't forget, goals aren't just for career or money. Set goals for personal growth, for relationships, for health, for happiness. The key is to think in terms of expansion. How can you become more, give more, experience more? Every time you write down a goal, you're making a contract with yourself to grow beyond your current limits. So don't be afraid to dream big and think creatively. Big thinkers don't wait for the perfect plan. They create it as they go. Remember, goals are the bridges between dreams and reality. The moment you decide exactly what you want and start thinking boldly about how to get it, you've already started building that bridge.
Here's something most people don't realize. No matter how talented or ambitious you are, success is never a solo journey. Schwartz reminds us that big thinkers understand the power of relationships. They know how to lift others up, inspire confidence, and build genuine connections that multiply success. Thinking big isn't just about what you achieve personally, it's about how you help others grow along the way. Leadership, according to Schwartz, begins with how you treat people. Real leaders don't dominate or intimidate, they encourage, they listen, they make others feel capable. They see potential where others see flaws, and because of that, people naturally want to follow them. Think of the best leader or mentor you've ever had. They probably didn't just give orders or micromanage, they made you believe you could do more than you thought possible. That's the essence of thinking big in relationships. One key trait of successful leaders is respect. Respect for others' time, respect for their opinions, respect for their differences. Small thinkers criticize, gossip, and compete out of insecurity. Big thinkers collaborate. They build bridges instead of walls. They focus on possibilities instead of problems. When you think big, you understand something crucial. Helping others succeed never takes away from your own success. It expands it. Here's something practical you can start doing today. Make it a daily habit to express genuine appreciation. Compliment people sincerely. Give credit freely. Acknowledge effort, even when results aren't perfect. A few kind words can completely change someone's motivation and outlook. Schwartz emphasizes that encouragement is a leadership superpower. It costs nothing, but it can transform people and teams. I've seen average teams become exceptional simply because someone believed in them and told them so. Another aspect of leadership is communication, specifically how you talk about others. Big thinkers know how to speak positively about people even when they're not in the room. They avoid negative talk because they understand that words create energy, and energy spreads. When you speak well of people, they feel valued, and that value returns to you through trust and goodwill. Here's a principle that changed my perspective. You lead every single day, whether you realize it or not. You lead your family, your coworkers, your friends, and most importantly, yourself. Leadership isn't about a title, it's about influence. The question is, are you leading from fear or from vision? Big thinkers lead from vision. They inspire confidence, not because they have all the answers, but because they believe answers can always be found. So if you want to think big, start by thinking generously. Support others. Believe in their potential as fiercely as you believe in your own. When you help people rise, you rise with them. Because at its core, the magic of thinking big isn't just about building a great life, it's about building a great impact.
Big thinking sounds inspiring when you hear it, but here's the real question. How do you make it a daily habit? How do you turn all these ideas into actions that actually change your life? Schwartz says that success isn't built in a single moment of motivation. It's built in the small, consistent choices you make every single day. Big thinking has to become a lifestyle, not just a mindset you visit when you're feeling inspired. So let's talk about how to make this practical. Start each day by feeding your mind with something positive. The first thoughts you have in the morning set the tone for your entire day. Instead of grabbing your phone and scrolling through negativity, take a few minutes to visualize your goals. Picture yourself already achieving them. Feel the confidence, the pride, the joy. That mental rehearsal programs your brain to act in alignment with success. It's like warming up before a workout. You're priming your mind for peak performance. Next, surround yourself with big thinkers. Energy is contagious. The people you spend time with directly influence how you think and what you believe is possible. If you're around people who constantly complain, doubt, or play small, you'll slowly start shrinking your own vision. But when you connect with dreamers, doers, and optimists, their belief fuels yours. Be intentional about your circle. Join communities, follow creators, read books, listen to podcasts. Consume content that challenges your thinking and expands your vision. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. Another key habit, practice gratitude and reflection. Take 5 minutes each evening to ask yourself, what did I do today that moved me closer to my goals? And what can I improve tomorrow? This simple check-in keeps your growth on track. Progress isn't about giant leaps. It's about steady, deliberate steps in the right direction. And when you track those steps, you build momentum. You start seeing proof that you're actually moving forward. Schwartz also reminds us to think big even in small actions. Whether it's how you dress, how you talk, or how you approach your work, carry yourself like the person you want to become. Excellence is a habit, not an event. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, start acting like one now. Dress professionally, speak with confidence, take your work seriously. When you consistently give your best effort, opportunities naturally start gravitating toward you. People notice, doors open. And perhaps most importantly, never stop learning. Read books, take courses, watch videos, listen to audiobooks. Every new idea expands your mental horizons just a little more. Growth-minded people don't wait for success to find them. They prepare for it. They sharpen their skills. They study their craft. They invest in their own development because they know that when opportunity knocks, it favors the prepared. Here's a final thought on habits. You don't need to change everything overnight. In fact, trying to change too much at once usually leads to burnout. Instead, pick 1 or 2 habits from what we've talked about and commit to them for 30 days. Maybe it's starting your morning with visualization. Maybe it's taking one bold action each day despite fear. Whatever it is, commit fully, because small changes, repeated consistently, create massive results over time. Remember that job interview from the beginning? 2 people, same qualifications, same experience. One got the job, the other didn't. Now you know why. It wasn't about who was more qualified on paper. It was about who believed they deserved it. The one who got hired walked in with the quiet confidence that they belonged there. They spoke about their experience like someone who knew their value. The other person walked in already defeated, already apologizing for what they lacked, already focused on why they might not be good enough. Same situation, different belief, different outcome. That's the magic of thinking big. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having all the answers. It's about believing in yourself, setting bold goals, and taking consistent action, even when you're scared, even when you doubt, even when it's uncomfortable. The world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards those who think they deserve success and act accordingly. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one thing from this video, just one. Maybe it's replacing "I can't" with "How can I?" Maybe it's setting one goal that actually scares you. Maybe it's taking one action tomorrow despite the fear. Whatever it is, do it. Don't just think about it. Don't just feel inspired for a moment and then forget. Actually do it. Because thinking big isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until one day you look back and realize you're not the same person anymore. You've become someone who thinks bigger, acts bolder, lives fuller. Someone who doesn't wait for permission or the perfect moment. Someone who just goes for it. That version of you is waiting. It's ready. All you have to do is start thinking big enough to meet them. The world is waiting for you to show up.